Hello and welcome to this complete beginner's guide to Unity. This series assumes that you have little to no experience of using Unity, but you may already have some ideas of what Unity is and how you're going to use it to make some amazing games and projects. Because that's the case, we're going to mainly focus this series on getting the tools and environment set up so that in later videos we can work on those amazing projects. We'll be using Unity as the game engine, of course, and we'll also be using VSCode as our code and text editor. We will be doing very minimal scripting in this series just to ensure that Unity does work with VS Code correctly, but this series is more of a general overview of how to use Unity and how to get started. With that said, let's get started. Let's go to unity.com so that we can download the Unity Hub. So once you reach the website, you'll want to go to the Get Started link, and then you'll want to click on Try Personal. All of the videos on this channel will be made with Unity Personal, and you only have to pay for Unity if you're earning more than $100,000 annually. So don't worry about ever having to pay for Unity for quite a while. Then we can download and save the file. In my previous experience, the download has never gone well. This time it worked, of course. So we can open that. Unity has not been made by Microsoft, so if you're on Windows, you may need to click on Install anyway. And then we'll just allow this app to install itself to our device. We can agree to the license agreement. Feel free to read it if that's what you do, and install it to any location on your drive that you'd like. It should only take a couple of seconds to install. It's very lightweight, and then once it's done, we can press Finish to open up the hub. You may need to allow firewall access again if you're on Windows, and then once that's through, you should see something very similar to this. This is the Unity Hub 2.0.1. You can see that we currently have no projects, and we currently have no installed versions. There are also a bunch of tutorials that you can follow outside of this course if you'd like to learn even more about Unity, so I'd recommend taking a look at those if that's something you might be interested in. For now, what we'll do is we'll go ahead to the Installs tab, and we'll add a version of Unity. So here are all of the different available versions of Unity that are currently available to me. I'm going to install the latest one, which is 2019.3.0A5, which is an alpha version represented by the A. Then we have a beta version here, and then we have the official releases below that. I'm going to install the alpha version because it's closer to what you would be in the future, but I would still highly recommend installing the latest version that is available to you when you watch this video. If you want to install the same version as me, that's fine, but I definitely recommend you installing the top one as well. Once you click Next, you'll be taken to the Add Modules page, which allows you to add different modules to your Unity version. The only modules I add are the documentation at the bottom, and on Windows, I tend to add the Mac build support so that I can build a distribution for both Windows and Mac. And on a Mac operating system, I will add the Windows build support so that I can build for Windows and Mac as well. Once you've selected those, feel free to select any others that you feel you might be interested in developing for. Press the Done button. You might have to agree to more changes, and then Unity will start installing itself. It does take some time, so don't worry too much if it's going slow. It's quite a big thing. So whilst that installs, what we're going to do is we're going to head over to Google, or your browser of choice, search engine of choice, and we're going to search for VS Code. You can see all of my search queries for stuff not installing or working there. And whilst we get to the VS Code page, we're going to download it for Windows. If you're on Mac, of course, you can download it for Mac. And then we should have the download link provided to us, and that will start installing. So let's just get rid of some of these. Remove. There we go. Great. So give it a few seconds to install, and then we can click on it and continue the installation process. Sorry, it was downloading then, not installing. Code isn't already installed on this system. Yeah, I already have it, but I'll go through the process anyway. So let's let the wizard set this up for us. Let's agree to the terms and conditions again. Let's choose where to install it. Let's press Next. Don't worry about any of these. I would just keep them as default personally, and then install. Might take a few moments to install. This is again extremely lightweight. If you've done any development before, you might be familiar with Microsoft Visual Studio, which is an extremely heavy program. I think it was 30 gigabytes when I had it, and VS Code is kind of just a lightweight version of that. So now we can open VS Code, and we get this lovely lightweight text editor that will work beautifully with Unity. Whilst Unity still installs, I'm going to walk you through a little bit of what I like to have installed in the terms of the extensions for VS Code. So as you can see, I have quite a lot of extensions installed because I also do web development, but the ones that I would recommend to you are the C# extension. So if you head to the top and you search for C#, it should be the top one. Then you should have an install button here. I would highly recommend adding the C# extension. This will allow IntelliSense to autocomplete certain phrases and words as we type. And I do believe there is also a Unity extension as well, if I have that installed. Yeah, we have a debugger for Unity as well, which will allow you to see any errors in code. So I would recommend that as well. I have that installed. And there's also I believe a C# fits format. Yes, so I would highly recommend the C# fits format as well. Basically, when you press save, or when you save the document, it will format the document to be as clean and as tidy as possible. So in later videos, you may notice that when I save, some of my code moves around to different lines. That's due to C# fits format. So I would highly recommend adding these three to to VS Code. And I'm also going to run you through very quickly some of the settings I have enabled for those. So if we head into this card icon in the bottom and click on settings, I'm going to search for C#. And actually, let's search for fits format. So you can see all of the settings I have. You can also change these settings to be more to your taste. So I think the important ones are, let's see what we've got here. We've got on same line. I changed a few of these settings around, so I would just go through it as well to see if any of this matches up with yours. Personally, this is my preference of things. You can have your own programming preference, absolutely. That's why these options exist. Now that we've set up VS Code, we've set up Unity, we've added some extensions to VS Code, and we've started downloading the latest version of Unity, what we'll do is in the next video, we'll go ahead and create a new project, and we'll get started having a look at how to use Unity.